said there is one thing that the former royal known as Prince Harry is consistent with, and it's this. As ever though, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Nice to have your company today. As you know, Prince Harry's been back in town, and as we often say here on the show, the bigger problem that you have once you come back into the public domain is what people decide to look up. Now, as you also know, Prince Harry's busy trying to, shall we say, get going his court case against Associated Newspapers alongside Reach plc and News UK. They are three of the biggest newspaper groups here in the United Kingdom. But you see, where he claims that the royal family are in cahoots with the British media, he couldn't be more wrong. They are very wise to the fact that the more you expose, the more you, shall we say, become associated with them, the more they start to dig for stories. And this truly is the problem now for Prince Harry. Going it alone, gung-ho, striding out of his car like he's about to take the world on fire, but then already having the wind blown out of his sails by some of the, shall we say, people who are currently working for Associated Newspapers, basically telling him he may need to rethink exactly where this particular case is going to go. That's putting it politely. But the bigger picture was truly this, because if you didn't see this particular element, which wasn't exposed to much of the media, it really does reinforce exactly where Prince Harry was. Now, as you know, he often cites the fact that he's met the love of his life, the former cable TV actress Meghan Markle. In fact, when he was asked on a recent US TV show what was his favourite smell, he said, Meghan Markle. Very romantic, didn't you think? Very strange indeed as well. Makes you wonder what Meghan smells of. Cash? Who knows? But the bottom line is this, that you see in these particular court cases, he alluded to the fact that a particular close relationship broke down due to the pressures of the media. But it goes a little stage further, and as ever, we have to say allegedly. According to a very good source, this truly was the love of his life, seemingly because at that particular point in that life, they really wanted to make sure that they were going to be, shall we say, making a life together. We're talking about, of course, the ubiquitous blonde Chelsea Davy. For many people, they thought that she was, of course, going to be the Princess Chelsea. It was the one, according to them. What was also strange, I particularly felt at the time, and covering that story, was she never particularly felt comfortable within the royal world, as one can imagine. But according to that particular paper, it appears that Prince Harry was absolutely devastated when Chelsea decided she didn't want part of royal life. Not only that, and we're putting this kindly, there were all sorts of veiled threats. And the bottom line is he was seen as very, very heartbroken, as one can imagine. His very first, real love, his very first falling in love experience, as one can imagine. But now, of course, this doesn't play particularly well, does it, in the I've only ever truly loved that one person story, because clearly Prince Harry had other designs. But what was interesting about this was it wasn't necessarily just Meghan Markle who was the catalyst to him taking a move away from his British life and moving off into a new direction. According to that good source, this idea was already futed around with Chelsea Davy, perhaps them moving to Africa, doing that sort of work. So once again, it seemed a rolling theme. And while a lot of people may go out and say, well, this just evolved over the last few years, clearly Prince Harry wanted a life away at some point, didn't know how to do it, and more importantly, didn't know how to fund it. But apparently without the love of his life, Chelsea Davy, he decided to put this on the back burner until once again it could be instigated into a plan that he truly felt could move forward. Now, strangely enough, that may have looked good on paper, starting a new life, finding your own income, but look how it's turned out. Not exactly the way that even Prince Harry possibly could have thought. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.